Bourbon friends, happy Bourbon 30. If you're a fan like me and you've never been on a distillery tour, you are missing out and you absolutely should include that on your bucket list. But for those who have not, I'm going to go ahead and talk about all the steps from start to finish or from grain to bottle, if you will, about how we end up with the bourbon we love to drink. So it all starts by selecting the mash bill. Obviously, it's got to be 51% corn, but then it also has rye or wheat and then malted barley. For your high rye bourbons, obviously, it has more rye. And then for your wheated bourbons, it has wheat instead of rye. And of course, from there, it goes on to milling the grains before we go into cooking or the mashing, which is when the magic starts happening. Then it moves on to fermentation, where they add yeast to the sweet mash for 3 to 7 days. And man, if you've never tasted that, you are not living. After the yummy fermentation process, it goes to distillation. Most bourbons are double distilled, first in a column still, then in a pot still. But there are some brands out there that still use the traditional pot still for both of those runs. From there, it gets diluted with water down to entry proof, which is less than 125 proof. Most distilleries, or many at least, do between 110 and 120 proof just so you can extract better flavor from it. And now that it's barreled, it's on to aging. So it has to be aged a minimum of 2 years to be considered a straight bourbon. But if it's just bourbon, then there's no minimum age on it. And of course, if we want to talk premium, it's 4 to 12 years plus. And we know those get into some really good bottles when it gets beyond 12 years. Once it's properly aged, that's when they will dump it, adding barrels from different parts of the rick house as it affects flavor so that you get more consistency across bottles once it's blended and bottled. If it's a single barrel bottle, then it all comes from one barrel. Then it's on to bottle proofing. Has to be a minimum of 80, but for some cask strength or barrel strength, it can be as high as 140 plus. There's an optional chill filtration process that removes fatty acids, which most mass market bourbons use, but some of the craft and premium bourbons don't use it to leave in some extra flavor. Now, the proofed bourbon is bottled and it's ready to be enjoyed. We all know what happens from there. Again, I wanted to share this with anyone who's not been on a tour and encourage you to do one if you can. Cheers, friends.